Let's Chat. I'm your host, India Sweet, and all right, you see the jersey. So, ladies and gentlemen, you know what that means. My favorite time of the most wonderful time of the year. Okay, well, we'll leave that to Christmas, but this is a pretty close second, ladies and gentlemen. You see my jersey, Georgetown, representing my favorite player. And no, I'm not talking about Nate Rubik's Cube, the little tall, lanky white boy that was there a few years ago. No. The all-time Georgetown great, Michael Sweetney. That's right, my husband, ladies and gentlemen. If you didn't make the correlation, Sweetney, sweet, yeah, now you got it. Yeah, but this is the time of the year, ladies and gentlemen. The shots heard around the world come one time a year when basketball players turn on that extra gear in March Madness NCAA. Okay, I think I built it up enough. I'm sorry. I get really excited this time of year, okay? So, what I thought we would fix this week would be great TV watching meals that we don't feel guilty about while I'm watching my game. So, it's a three-parter today. First, we're going to start out with a tapas-style appetizer. We're going to do an olive tapenade, delicious, guilty-free appetizers. And then, for our middle portion, like our meal, we're going to do a beef curry lettuce wrap. And in this one, you got a little bit of carbs, you got the potatoes, because let's face it, if you're drinking, you need something to absorb it. And then finishing it off, we have, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to want to stick around for this. It's a sweet and salty sweet potato mousse cup, and they are delicious. Okay, so we're going to start out with the middle part of our meal so we can start cooking our beef curry cabbage wraps. And what we're going to do, get your pan over a medium heat, cover your bottom with a little bit of olive oil, and I have a half of a white onion that I'm going to dice up. We're going to put in the pan, also some shaved garlic. You know me. We're going to have garlic. I'm sorry, it's good for you and it tastes good. Okay, so I'm going to chop up here about a half a cup and put them in my pot. All right, after we put those in, we are going to get 2 cloves of garlic, shave them in. All right, so before we get into our whole bracket breakdown thing, you know, my Let's Cook, Let's Chat viewers out there, we've developed a little bit of a rapport and relationship, and I want to thank everybody for tuning in every week and all the love and support. So, you know, I share things with you that happen. First time going to church is being a mother and my husband, a father of 3. We're outnumbered now, so it's never easy when we go out. Okay, let's move these onions to the side. And then I have 2 Yukon Gold potatoes here that we are going to cut up and dice after our onions saute. Okay, so my church is kind of on the other side of town from where we live, about 40 minutes away. I woke up at about 3:15, could not get back to sleep. I get up, I get everybody together. My husband and I, we get out of here at a decent time, hustling, bustling, trying to get out of this door. I start sweating. And, you know, I don't stink. I had taken a shower, and trust me, I rolled on more deodorant than probably like a 300-pound UFC fighter getting ready to go into a cage fight because I know I sweat. Didn't make a difference. We get to church. I'm finished doing my hair because I just washed it. So for me, when I do my hair, the ladies know, they're called flyaways when your hair just doesn't lay down right. Wasn't laying down right, so didn't have the appropriate brush because I'm more concerned with making sure the kids got snacks, the baby has her formula, and we got diapers, and the whole 9. iPads are charged. It's just the whole thing. We get to church. The wind is blowing like our Category 3 hurricane, okay? So my hair is going all over the place, and I'm like, great. I just made it perfect. By the time I get into church, it's going to be all over the place. Okay, so what? Who cares? So I have the girl. So by the time I get her jacket off, get her straight, get my jacket off, I'm sweating so bad. Like the stains have gone from just under the arm to like all the way out, like side boob. I mean, it was sort of side boob, it was side sweat. It was horrible. And I have on this pink dress, beautiful dress, so it's really noticeable. It's not like I have on black or white, you know, or a dark blue. No, it's a bright pink dress with these dark pit stains. And I'm like, you have got to be kidding me right now. Then my youngest boy, Gray, he's 2. He starts crying, and I knew he was tired because we'd had a long day before, went to a birthday party, and he was exhausted. So he was crying. So my husband picked him up and finally got him quiet. Because I'm like, please don't start us in the middle of church. Of course, the girl's already asleep, and my 4-year-old, he's like, Mommy, I'm tired. But I tell my son to come here, so while I'm holding like the girl like this, I'm saying, okay, come here, sweetie. And then I look at my husband, and he's laughing. And I'm looking like, why are you laughing? And I just look down, and I'm thinking, oh, he sees my son, who has a rather big head too, his head underneath my arm. And I'm like, shut up. He's like, man, his head gonna stink. And I'm like, shut up. I'm sweating, but I don't stink, okay? You know what I mean? Like, those are 2 totally different things here, people. So then I look down and I see, okay, and I'm not trying to get too personal here, but we're family. It is what it is. My boobs have gotten bigger with each baby I had. And they were big to already begin with. So my body is very disproportionate because they're real. They're not, they're not fake. The fake ones just move around anywhere. So my boobs are starting to like come out of the shirt that I have on underneath of the dress, and they're like showing through the sheer part. And this is church. Was I was on a date night, it would be all good, but not in front of sweet baby Jesus. You know what I'm saying? So I'm thinking, okay, I feel my hair flying up, and I want to go like this to get my hair, but then my pit stains are so bad, so I don't want to go like this. And then you know how when you have the pit stains, and then it's right there, and you can just go like this, and they'll be covered. But when they start like coming out like the side boob, you like try to go like this, and you're either clapping or acting like you're holding something the whole time to try to get a little bit of coverage. So between like my hair, my pit stains, me being tired, my children. It was like an SNL sketch. It was a whole thing. And thank God I was sitting next to my uncle because, it wasn't like, church people, they're lovely. But some of them, girl, did you see her sweating in church like that? Lord have mercy. She need to wash herself. No wonder she ain't been here in so long, got all them kids. She don't even know how to take care of herself. You know how you church people can be. I'm just saying. So thank goodness I was sitting next to my uncle because he didn't mind it. Even though afterwards I still was kind of, oh my gosh, I could not get myself together. I kind of wanted to explain, but I didn't want to think I was just sitting over there sweating and didn't know that I was sweating. It was a whole thing. It was a mess. Okay, so we have all of our potatoes in there. We are going to take 1 pound of ground beef. Now, I know some of you out there do not do beef, so you can do ground turkey if you like. I will say this, though. I have not used ground turkey in this recipe yet. So, if you want to do that, please make sure you tag me because I would really like to know how it turns out. Okay, so we are going to get our beef all mixed up here, turn up our heat a little bit, and we are going to let these 2 cook down for about a good 5 to 10 minutes because we want it to fry and we want our beef to be cooked all the way. Okay, our meat is fully cooked and our potatoes are cooking nicely. We're going to take a ½ cup of frozen peas. Toss these right on in here. Then I have my curry. Now it depends on you how you like your stuff. If you like it really curry, then you can do 2 full tablespoons like I am doing. If not so much, about 1, 1.5. But trust me, after it cooks down, because we're going to add a little bit of chicken stock, it won't be too bad. And really, at the end, you can always add more as you go along. I say start slow and then build. Okay, then I got some beef stock here, sorry. And I'm going to mix this up a little bit first. And then I'm going to add about 1/4 cup of the beef stock. Nice and sizzling that pan, baby. Make sure you turn it down to a nice little low temperature there. We are going to cover and let it cook for about 15 minutes. All right. Just a tad of salt. Cover. And next up, we are going to work on the start of our sweet and saucy sweet potato mousse cups. They're so good, they make you want to dance. All right, guys, next up is our sweet and salty sweet potato mousse cups. The salt on the top of it, I have here 3 pieces of bacon. Now, I know everybody doesn't do pork. If you want to switch it out for some sea salt, fine, but this girl loves her bacon. This one is no exact science because we're going to candy it, ladies and gentlemen. So here I have some grade A organic maple syrup. dark amber. And you just are going to want to take it one down the middle, a little bit, make sure it's covered, not totally. All right, and if I was doing an entire candy bacon, I would do both sides. But since I wanted to still have a little bit of a salty flavor to it, I'm going to leave the back regular. I have some light packed brown sugar. Ooh, if you only know the goodness that you are in store for. And really, for the amount of cups that I'm doing today, I really only need 2 pieces of bacon. But I know I'm going to eat a piece, so that's what the third one is for. And trust me, you're going to want to do it too. Put this in the oven till it crisps up nicely, 400, 425, depending on your oven, for about 15 to 20 minutes. Okay. All right, guys, next up is the good part, the sweet potato mousse itself. All right, I'm going to start off here. I have 1 sweet potato, short and fat, how I like my sweet potatoes. Unlike my men who I like tall and rugged. But I like them short and fat because I think those pack a little bit more flavor than the longer ones. Okay, we're going to put this in our blender and we're going to mix this up a little bit first because of the fact that you don't want it stringy. So you want to blend your sweet potatoes very well, whether you're making a mousse or a whipped one. When you don't whip it enough, you end up with the strings. If you're biting something and you pull it out, you didn't whip it enough. Okay, we're going to start blending that. And we're going to start breaking down our brackets, ladies and gentlemen. But before we get there, can I just say, conference week always comes before. And it was so weird this time to see Notre Dame freaking won the ACC tournament. That makes no sense to me. Michigan State was playing Maryland in the Big Ten. There's no more history, and I absolutely hate it when it comes to the, conferences. But anyway, okay, right here, I have 3 tablespoons of brown sugar, light pack, 1/4 of a teaspoon of cinnamon, and 1/4 of a teaspoon of nutmeg. So let's turn that off because I'm not trying to get my jersey all splattered up. We're going to dump that in there. Now, I baked this sweet potato in the oven, and you're going to want to add your ingredients while it's still hot because that'll help it blend together a little bit better. And then I am going to take 2 teaspoons of vanilla. All right, so let's get to some bracket breakdown. Now, I'm no Joe Lunardi. Speaking of which, you may know who he is, you may not if you watch ESPN or ABC, anything college basketball, who he says this hair, check him out. He says that hair is his. If that's his hair that grew out of his head, then this hair grew out of mine. I don't think so. All right. So as we all know, Kentucky undefeated. John Calipari has had this great year with his team, and then Kentucky coming out of that Midwest region. In the East, actually, I feel like Louisville's going to come out and make the Final Four. I'm sorry. Call me crazy. I will never, ever count out a Rick Pitino team. I just don't believe Villanova has what it takes to make it out of that bracket. I'm not sold. Maybe I'm just a hater. But, no, I'm sorry. Okay, so this is whipping up really nicely. Let's stop. Okay, that is blended up great. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this and we're going to put it in a side bowl, and we're going to let it cool completely. We're going to put our whipped cream in there. And if you put your whipped cream in there when it's too hot, your whipped cream is just going to melt, so we don't want that. All right, now we're going to make our whipped cream. Now, most people get theirs from the store. Me, no, because it should only be 2 ingredients in whipped cream, and that's 1 cup of heavy cream. The second, 2 tablespoons of white sugar. That's all you need. Okay, so you're going to want to whip this to it some nice stiff peaks. You don't want to make butter. Don't turn it too much because if you do, it is not going to be easy to fold into our sweet potato mixture. Okay, let's finish off our brackets here. I'm so upset that Kentucky and Wisconsin will meet in the Final Four instead of a chance for them to meet in the title game. Okay, we'll do that one last. The other Final Four matchup I have is Louisville and Gonzaga. And I really think this is Gonzaga's year. I think they beat Louisville and Rick Pitino's team to make it to the finals. And my upset that heard around the world, everybody thinks Kentucky is going to go on to win it. And I'm sorry, I love Kentucky and John Calipari. I'm so sorry. You are the man. You have this fantastic young team that hasn't been on that big grand stage. I think this is where it comes to an end and they get beat by Wisconsin. Wisconsin goes on, and it's like an all-West final. The greetings will be horrible unless it's a true basketball fan, because true basketball fans is going to be Gonzaga and Wisconsin. And I'm picking Frank Kaminsky and those Big Ten boys to win it all. They just know how to win, and that white boy is good, man. I'm trying to tell you, he's really, really good, and I think this might just be their year. If Kentucky wins, you know how people try to preface it after they pick one team, but if this team wins, I would not be surprised. That is my bracket, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to see it and my friends and how we're all measuring up, go to ESPN. We have our own group. It's under India Suite, so go check that out. And it depends on when you're watching the show, whether it's, Friday, Saturday, my bracket's probably busted anyway, but so what, who cares? It's always fun. There's only one person I really want to be, my work husband, Jay Cottrell. For some reason, I don't know why, Mr. I Hate Bunnies, you have to know him to understand that, I just really want to beat him. Everybody else, I really don't care. Okay, so we're going to get this to whip up to nice, soft peaks. All right, our whipped cream is nice and whipped to some nice, soft, you're so good. Nice, soft, but stiff peaks. Again, you don't want it to get all, churned till it's almost butter. And then, a little bit at a time, we have our cooled sweet potatoes here. We're going to start to fold it in. Now, mind you, you do not want to stir, okay? You want to fold. You see? Fold, 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 fold. Because if you stir this at all, of course, it's going to take the air out of the heavy cream. All right, that is blended beautifully. Let's test it a little bit. That's perfect. Okay. It's important to know, I did not use all of my whipped cream. You don't want to put too much whipped cream in there and it tastes like cream and then no longer sweet potato. No sweet potato is the same. That's why you'll have more whipped cream than you will sweet potato. But it's great because at the end, after we fill our cups, you can dollop a little bit on top if you would like. This is ready. I'm going to get our cups to fill it with and take our bacon out of the oven. All right, guys, so I got the bacon out of the oven. We're going to let that cool. While we're letting that cool, we're going to take our sweet potato mousse filling, and I have some mini phyllo shells here. They're great. You can find them from your local grocery store. You might find like a Pepperidge Farm puff pastry. They all work. Tiny little cups. They're great for easy little guilt-free poppers. And I'm only going to do as much as we're going to eat tonight because you don't want to make more than what you're going to eat because it can get soggy. So this can last up for a good 2 to 3 days in the refrigerator. So you want to fill them nicely now. Okay, those are in there. Now for our bacon, which is, ooh, look at that. Oh my gosh, this is just like goodness. This is goodness. And you just want to chop them up. And then you just want to sprinkle them on the top of your cups. That is so good. I can't stop eating it. All right, we're going to work on our olive tapenade. I have my food processor. Don't worry if you don't have one, you can just use your blender. Here I have 8 ounces of Kalamata olives, or 2 cups. Now, I don't like to use the jar ones because they're not as crunchy. They don't have as much flavor. So I get mine from the Whole Foods, bar. They have a whole little pickle section. Whether you go to Safeway or Giant, they always have some. They're usually by the deli. You can get them fresh. I have 3 coarsely chopped garlic cloves here, of course. And then I have capers. It's funny because normally I don't like capers at all. But in this, I do. So I'll use about a tablespoon to 2 teaspoons of fresh lemon. Look at that. Oh my gosh. And then we're going to put our top on and give that a little pulse. Get that worked up and going. And again, our good olive oil. You have your olive oil for frying, you have your olive oil for sauteing, and then you have your olive oil for your coating of pastas or your tapenades. And this is the good olive oil. It's the expensive one. Good equals expensive. Usually that's why you don't use it for anything else other than things like this. 3 tablespoons. And you're going to want to add it as you're pulsing it in. Okay, let's taste it. See what we got here, ladies and gentlemen. That is perfect. Okay, I have a big boiling pot of water here. We're going to add some salt. Make sure you salt it up nicely because it's the only time our cabbage is going to be able to get any flavor to it. I've had here a regular cabbage. You can use Savoy or any kind of cabbage that you like. You want to make sure you chop off the bottom. After your bottom is chopped off, this is the tricky part. You want to make sure when you take off your leaves, you work it really gently. You'll have to go from top to bottom, bottom to top, to try to make sure that the leaves don't break, because you want to keep them as whole as possible, because that is what we're going to use to wrap our beef curry in. And if they break up, it's okay, because you'll make a roll. And then just dump them into the hot water. You only want them to be in there for just about 2 minutes. We've blanched our cabbage leaves. Now it's time to plate. I don't know about you, but I'm kind of hungry. All right, guys, we're ready to plate. So let's check our curry beef. Let's see. That's perfect. It doesn't need anything. All right, I have my cabbage leaf here. And we're gonna put just enough in. You don't want to overflow it like a Chipotle burrito, and just roll it. Perfect. All right, I have 2 rolls there. I'm going to take 2 of my filetos. And for my tapenades here, I just roasted a few pieces of bread. You can use crackers, you can use baguettes. Of course, I have gluten-free, because you know I like to cut down on my gluten. And a little bit of the tapenade. All right, let's eat. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's show. I know I've been running hot lately, but I worked hard today, and I'm sweating now, so I'm so ready to eat. But we went all over the globe, from the roasted garlic spread and the olive tapenade from like Spain. We went to the Middle East with the cabbage beef curry wraps, and rounded it out home in the Americas with the sweet and salty sweet potato mousse, honey child. I don't know about you, but I am ready for some basketball, some guilt-free eating basketball watching. If you know me and you call me from Thursday through Sunday over the next couple of weeks and it's not important, I'm not answering my phone. Just letting you know, a little FYI. Okay, you know where to find me. On Instagram, India Sweet, all these goodies and so much more. Make sure you hashtag your stuff. Let's cook, let's chat. I can find your stuff, you can find mine. On Twitter, Indo Sweet Sports, and then on Facebook for all of these recipes and so much more, India Sweet. You know the deal. All right, people. Until next time, make sure you always eat good. I hope your brackets aren't busted. Right now, I got Wisconsin, come on, Frank Kaminsky going all the way. Either I look like a genius or I look like a fool, and they lost in like the first round. Either way, it doesn't matter, because we're all in store for some really, really good basketball watching, and hopefully we can get a few of those shots that we'll always remember. All right, until next time, people, always eat good. See ya.